Welcome everybody to another batch of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first video is from the user Taco Bell 5811. That's Taco Bell 5811. He's driving the KV3 on an encounter battle on the Sacred Valley, and the KV3 is the tier 7 heavy tank for the Russians. Is that on slow motion? No, it's not. It's just this tank is horrendously slow. KV3, obviously, when the game first released, used to be the tier 6 heavy tank, but it was bumped up to tier 7 pretty soon. I think it was about 4 or 5 patches in. It was bumped up to tier 7. And given a buff just because it's a pretty overall powerful tank, and felt that that was the best place for it in the end, I'm sure. So before we get into this replay, just want to say congratulations to the winner of the last Guess the Thumbnail competition. That is the competition that we run on every single video. If you can be the first person to correctly identify the tank and the map featured in the thumbnail, you'll win a shout out in the very next video. And of course the correct answer was a Panther Mark II on the mines, and the first person to correctly identify that was Mustang Man What? That's Mustang Man What? Congratulations to you for having a keen eye and spotting that that was indeed the Panther Mark II on the mines. I'm going to have to start making these ones even more devilishly difficult, because I thought that one would be pretty difficult considering there's all those VK3002Ds and could have been any of those tanks, but no, you guys guessed correctly very, very quickly. So going to have to see about making these thumbnail competitions a little bit more difficult in the future, just because you guys are so damn quick at identifying what the tank is. So I may have to start just putting in some of these random Chinese medium tanks and let you have a go trying to guess which one that is. So back to the battle at hand. The two KV3s just taking to the north here, taking the northern path towards the enemy spawn area. If you're a big, heavy beast of a tank like these KV3s are, then oftentimes you can just brute force your way through here. As you see, Taco Bell picking up his very first kill there, taking a few hits in the face, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. He's able just to soak that damage up and not really too concerned about it. Digging on that AT2, unfortunately there. He's taken about 500 points of damage so far, but like I said, with the KV3 you can pretty much just brute force your way down the flank and you're able to just punch a hole through the enemy's line here. As you can see, his ally I-Tired is deciding to head more into the centre here, and that's going to leave Taco Bell just to push this northern road. Enemy hasn't left too many defences here, but then the allies aren't really attacking with too many tanks either. Going to see if we can get some damage on this AT2 as he comes over the rise. Unfortunately, he's come over at such an angle, can't really hit any of his weak spots here. Just maybe going to try and take out his track to keep him pinned in place. Actually, you can just see the top of the command hatch there, so probably would have been able to take him out, but either not knowing that that was the weak spot or not quite noticing that it was on display there. Going to be able to just push straight through here. Going to come face to face with an AMX who takes out his track. He's just going to use that repair kit in an attempt to try and get some damage on him, but nope, manages to hide successfully behind the corpse of the AT2 there, so decides just to leave him for the 3001 and that Panzer Mark IV. Let them clean up the AMX there, while Taco Bell just pushes on towards the objective. Finds a Stug 3 here, not sure if he's AFK or if he's just looking in the wrong place. Whatever he is, he's no longer in the battle and he's been taken out. As you can see, that ELC AMX actually did a pretty good number on that 3601 earlier and was able to take him out. Stug 3 closing in from the rear, but should be able to, there we go, just take him out, no problem whatsoever. So that's 3 quick kills, making a total of 4 now for Taco Bell, and 3 for his platoon mate I-Tired there. So it looks like the enemy's starting off a base capture. Only got 1 person in the cap zone, so this thing's going to take quite a while to do, although the enemy does have a decent lead on on kills at the moment at 11 to 9. So they've definitely got more tanks on the field. So the platoon mates here just going to be sticking together. And then at least that way they can cover each other's back. It looks like there's an IS and a Tiger P on the far left-hand flank there. And they appear to be dueling with that 25-2 and the AMX. And that's a fight that a Tiger P and an IS should be able to win, no problem. So it looks like iTired's just going to be heading up the ridge to take the higher ground, while Taco Bell pushes on towards the cap zone itself, with 2 of them in there now and only 40 seconds, close to 35 seconds to go on this cap. Then somebody's going to have to be in there to try and reset. iTired's probably going to be able to get a position where he can fire on the cap zone, but he's almost certainly not going to be able to get any eyes on the tanks that are in there. Spot out this IS here. He's on full health, so he must have made a beeline straight for the cap zone. Unfortunately, just takes a massive hit in the rear there, taking off a good chunk of his hit points. And rather than moving, he's deciding just to rotate his turret on the spot. Probably not going to... Oh, he is able to shoot past the roof there, but he's going to take a ridiculous amount of damage because for some reason he decided not to make a move. Taco Bell taking some shots from the rear now. Going to have a quick look who that is. There's a couple of medium tanks up there, so he's going to let his ally iTired deal with that while he takes out that Type T-34. So iTired's going to have to fight with these 2 medium tanks up on the ridge now. A KV-3 probably not going to be able to take out both a Panther and a 3601. So Taco Bell just going to lend a hand here and throw some damage his way. They should be able to take out this Panther now, as he's not doing the best job in the world of getting hull down and disappearing. And that is kill number 6 for Taco Bell, picking up his Top Gun medal. iTired with 4 kills to his name. So if these 2 can sew this one up... Oh, not quite able to hit that ELC there. He's just been a little bit too quick and a little bit too slippery for the KV-3 there. Just managing to get himself into cover on that bridge. As you can see, his ally just on the hill there, dueling with this 3601. That's going to be a bit of a difficult fight for him. Taco Bell just going to see if he can get a fire position on him. Unfortunately, he can't. Just going to wait for this ELC to make a move. 3601 looking like he's making a break for it. This ELC, is he going to poke over the top? No, not quite. It looks like he's actually backed right the way off there. Let's see what this 3601's doing. Looks like he's trying to get a shot on the rear there. A little bit tense here. There we go. iTired able to take out the 3601. So that just leaves 2 of them against this ELC now. The ELC having a shot and able to take out the other KV-3. Not sure why he fired there. Maybe it was either a slip of the finger, opening fire by accident, or maybe he was trying to lure the ELC AMX out by saying, look, I've fired, why don't you come out? Ooh, just about missing there. A little bit unfortunate. Oh, no. And the ELC not quite being able to land his shot. Falls off the ridge, busts his track. Obviously got no repair kit and no time to reload. So, absolutely nail-biting finish there from Taco Bell, able to pick himself up a monster 7 kills in this match, claiming himself Top Gun, and if I'm not mistaken, that's also the crucial contribution medal for the 2 of them. So brilliant replay from you, Taco Bell. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Score screen's coming right up. And our next replay is from the user Kooky. That's Kooky, and he's driving the T110E4 on standard battle on airfield. The 110E4 being the tier 10 tank destroyer for the Americans. That's the one on the turreted line. the one that follows down the T-28 prototype, and so on and so forth. The T-30 and all that stuff leads onto this one. So it looks like he's platooned up with one of his friends here, Lieutenant Gruber. You may have noticed that we've shown one or two of his replays before, and indeed we've shown one or two of Cookie's replays before, so getting to be a regular occurrence on this subscriber replay show. But don't fret if your replay hasn't been shown yet. Like I said, I do have a backlog of everything except medium tanks, so I will hopefully try and get onto your video eventually. Obviously, if your video never makes it in, then don't get disheartened. Please keep sending those replays in, because you never know when I may get a chance to feature one of the replays that you send in. So on to this battle at hand. Going to be taken to the northern area there. Didn't really spot out too many people in the centre of the map. Going to be heading to this northern area and just trying to hold the enemy back as well as possible. Spots an M103 here, sees that he's had his shot. He's a little bit out of position, so he's going to be able to put a round straight through his side and do almost 800 damage there. So a massive hit through the side of that M103 there, just taking advantage of the fact that he was way out of position there. So going to be dropping back just behind the rise here in order to give himself some cover. Going to see if he can get up into the higher ground position behind this rock wall here. Obviously being in this position is going to be much better. Oh, takes a little hit there from... not sure who that was, because I wasn't really paying attention. I think that was a T-32. So yeah, it's much better to be in this position here, because from this elevated position you can poke out and fire at the enemy just like that. Wow, doing 986 damage. That was a massive hit there. So yeah, from this position you can poke out and do damage to whoever's trying to come through this northern area. And you've also got that little bit of hill behind you there, in order to fire down on the centre of that T-32, just waiting for him to poke out. But Cookie's able to finally take out that M103 that he got the big hit on earlier on in the game. So he's going to wait for this cannon to reload a little bit, and then he's going to poke himself back out. That T-32 is almost certainly going to be waiting for him again, and indeed he is, and he's able to get back just in time. You may have noticed there was a little bit of rubber banding going on there. That just seems to be bit of a bug with the replays here. You may notice it a couple of times during this replay that tanks will seem to rubber band around a little bit. It's just one of those quirks that with the replay system that we unfortunately have to put up with some of these replays. So apologies for that, and hopefully it won't interrupt your viewing pleasure too much. Just going to sit and hold this position and wait for his allies to sweep around. As you can see, the guys in the north there, that IS-3 and that T-69, doing a good job of flanking around to the north of the enemy here. As you see, there's a few of them. But it looks like somebody's actually started a base capture at this point. One of the enemy light tanks is in there, but it looks like there's an Object 704 closing in on him, so it won't be long until he is dealt with. Yeah, as you can see there, that light tank just making a run for it. That Object 704 giving chase, but I don't think he's going to be fast enough in the end to be able to catch him. Looks like it's a 59-16. And Object 704 is not giving up. He's still giving chase, and it looks like it's an Indian Panzer closing in as well. Just keeping an eye on the mini-map here, because there isn't really much else going on. But it looks like that 59-16 is pretty doomed now. That Indian Panzer able to take him out in the end. But doing his job pretty well there, that enemy light tank. So he did manage to draw an Indian Panzer and an Object 704 away from their respective flanks. But unfortunately did get himself killed in the end. So as you can see, this elevated position here proving to be a very good one for Cookie and his tank destroyer here, as he picks up his second kill of the match, as it does give you, as I said, it gives you a good advantage on this northern flank, and then if your allies have got that all sewn up, it gives you a good vantage point over the centre of the map here. because most people have to pass by this little ridge's line of sight in order to get into that base and start a base capture off. Not very many routes south of this ridge that you can take without getting spotted by anybody on this ridge. Just going to see if he can land a hit on this E100. Nope, not quite able to land that shot. Just going to wait for his gun to reload, and hopefully shot number 2 will prove to be a little luckier. Hopefully this E100 won't be able to get into any cover, but let's face it, it's not the fastest moving thing in the world, but it looks like he has indeed managed to get himself behind a rock here. So not really too sure what's happened to the rest of his allies now. It looked like they were making a good push in the north there and flanking around the enemy, but they're actually losing this 9-6 at the moment. So actually losing this one by 3 kills right now, and in a tier 10 actually losing it by 4 kills now, and in a tier 10 match losing by 4 kills is quite a significant amount. So T57 lurking around here. Luckily he's only got 169 hit points, so this one shouldn't be too difficult just to take him out. There we go. That's kill number 3 for Cookie, taking out that T57. Either he didn't have his cannon reloaded at that point, or he was just taken totally by surprise. Wasn't expecting a wild E4 to appear and shoot him straight in the face. Spots out an E3 here. Going to see if he can pick out the weak point of his turret. I'm pretty sure that thing has some pretty significant armor, but it looks like he's not quite able to hit him in the shot. Flying just about over his head. There's still that E100 as well in on the base being threatening. Going to see if he can land a shot on him. Going to aim for his lower glacis there. Able to put a shot straight through, which is good. He's going to try and take cover. Oh, looks like that E100 hit, but actually didn't penetrate, so he may not have the top gun for that one, or indeed he may have the top gun, because I'm pretty sure it has less penetration than the stock one, but it has significantly more damage. We'll see if we can finish him off, and indeed he can. Finishes off the E100 there, picking up kill number 4. Still losing this one, but only ever so slightly now at 11 kills to 10. Enemy does have 2 artillery over them and 3 tank destroyers left, whereas the allies have 2 medium tanks and 2 tank destroyers. Finds an SU-152, takes a shot in the face, but he's able to reply and is able to finish him off. Second 152 is a little bit hasty and rushes his shot, but luckily for him he's got plenty of cover. He can just hide behind the corpses of his fallen allies. Hopefully, yep, he's able just to back himself off and get well into cover. Going to be playing this one a little bit smart, as you can see, not really wanting to venture out. And there's that Foch 155 turned up to the party now. Let's have a... looks like Cookie's just focusing on this 152, not wanting to let him get anywhere. That Foch has now finished off the T95, and he's got a significant amount of hit points as well. Cookie's not going to be able to finish him off in one shot. Probably going to take at least 2. Oh, but the Foch has rushed his shot, and he's going to take some significant damage now. And there we go, able to hit him. Spots the Allied Indian Panzer coming in here, so just decides, well, that Foch is going to reload before me, so I better just make my move, get the hell out of here, and start tracking down this ISU-152. So a nice bit of teamwork there from Cookie, just leaving that kill for the Indian Panzer, knowing that he would have the damage and he would have the penetration to be able to just finish him off, and then he can come and play ring of roses around this rock apparently and just chase the 152. Nope, deciding that he's had enough of that game. He's going to turn around and try and take the 152 head on. Hopefully the Indian Panzer can just lure this 152 out into making a mistake, and Cookie can just shoot him directly in the side. But no, it looks like this 152 is playing it pretty safe. Well, not safe enough, as he's backing off out in the open there for some reason and gets himself taken out. So that just leaves the 1 artillery, the SU-14-2, and that leaves a medium tank and a turret tank destroyer to go and hunt him down. So this isn't a fight that he's going to be able to win unless he gets very, very lucky indeed. So they're going to just play hunt the artillery now. There's really only a couple of places he can be. Now, they'll be up on that little rock ridge right there, or he's going to be down in the K line, hiding on the beach just down the cliff face, which is where a lot of the artillery do like to hide. Just going to see who manages to find him first. Looks like the Indian Panzer's having a check up on the cliff face. Looks like he's not there, but nope, looks like he's down on the lower path here. And Cookie is able to finish him off and picks himself up kill number 7. So a little slow and methodical game there from Cookie, showing off his skills in the T110E4. Nice and methodical and calculated. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. And score screens and another replay to follow right now. And our next replay is from the user Marauda64. That's Marauda64. He's driving the Matilda on a standard battle on Wide Park, and the Matilda being the tier 4 medium tank for the British. Although, as you're about to see, this thing plays a hell of a lot more like a heavy tank than it does a medium tank, with its speed, maneuverability, armor, and hit points. So I thought we'd kick back, relax, and watch a tier 4 game. As you can expect in a game like this, it's going to be nice and action-packed with hopefully a nice big kill score. So Marauda just taking up a position at the back here behind the buildings, where you can get a good view on the subway that runs underneath the train tracks. Normally you can pick off some people who are out of position, especially when you've got a nice fast-firing gun like this one. Although you don't have the alpha damage, as you can see they're only doing around 50 to 60 damage, it is incredibly fast-firing, so you can really catch people off guard. As soon as you land the first shot, if they don't start moving in that second, you're almost guaranteed to land your second and possibly your third shot as well before they're able to get into cover. So this position here, back behind the building, is pretty good. Normally for a heavy tank or a tank destroyer, somebody with a nice large cannon, as it lets you get a good view down the main road here that runs underneath the train tracks and through that subway. It gives you a good view of that road, but doesn't really put you into harm's way, as you've got this building here that you can always hide behind, and you've got the bush just in front of you that offers you a good amount of camouflage. So this place is definitely a very good spot for a tank destroyer. Finds the turret of this 127 here, able to put a little bit of damage through that. Obviously, with the fast firing speed of this cannon and the sheer volume of rounds that it's able to carry, even when somebody fades away into the fog of war, it's always worth having 1 or 2 more shots, just in case you're able to land one there. Like I said, with the speed of fire and the amount of rounds you've got, you may as well just have that extra shot just in case. A little bit delayed on following that LTP there, but was still able to get a little bit of damage on him. Tried to land one as he went through that subway there, but just took a shot in the track for his trouble. Looks like that probably came from this guy right here. And as you can see, he didn't start moving immediately, and that's probably going to be a disaster, and that is the end for the LTP there. Should have really started reversing, or at least driving forward, or driving somewhere after that first shot landed, but because he didn't drive anywhere at all, he was able to land 3, 4, 5 shots and eventually take him out. Another LTP there, and again, caught out in the open, and Marauda64 just able to pound him down. So the score's pretty even at the moment. It's 6-7 in these low-tiered games, though. Even if you're losing by 2, 3, sometimes even 4 kills, it's still no stretch of the imagination to think that you're able to pull that one back from the jaws of defeat, just because down at these lower tiers, the tier 3s and 4s, sometimes you get a lot of newer players and people who aren't quite as good or as seasoned or experienced as some other players. And that's where we get the term seal clubbing from. Somebody who generally plays in higher tiers, tier 7, 8, 9 and 10, who drops down to a tier 3 or tier 4 tank just to blow off some steam, is all well and good. But if somebody consistently plays in tier 3 and 4 games in an overpowered tank, then that is what we classify as seal clubbing, just going in there and bopping seals on the head for some easy wins. So it looks like they've got a good presence on this left-hand flank here, but nobody really on that right-hand flank. As you can see, there's a couple of them moving in there, but it looks like most of them are, concentrating on that far right-hand flank. Just going to see if this T-82 pops his head out. But be careful, because I'm pretty sure that T-82 does come with a pretty decent derp cannon, if I'm not mistaken. Not quite able to land another shot on him, but an LTP comes in. Oh no, there he goes. Comes into view, but just about missed. There we go. Finally able to finish off that T-82 and picking up kill number 3. So the enemy team winning by 4 kills at the moment. It looks like they were easily able to overrun that right-hand flank there. And this left-hand flank should really have been pushing a lot sooner, but don't really have the tanks or the hit points to achieve that. Got a Panzer 1C here, but he's only got 29 hit points, which means he's pretty close to being dead himself. As you can see, the enemy from the right-hand flank are now circling around to the left here. This M3 Stuart making a beeline. Really should zoom out at this point just to make it easier to keep track of where this M3 Stuart is going. Luckily, he managed to crash himself into the wall of subway there and get himself eliminated. There we go. That T-127 wanted to start moving a lot sooner than that. As soon as he sees the gun train on him, that's when he needs to start moving, because he's still going to take 1 shot of pain from that one. So now it looks like it's 13 kills to 9 and 6 enemy tanks against 2 of the allies, although one of the allied tanks is a artillery piece, and he is just going to be hiding off in the village there. Spotted T-28 on full health, so going to do what he can to try and take him out. Really should be turning his front armour onto the T-28, because the T-28 has the best cannon there, but doing the next best thing of reversing into the subway there just to stop the guys being able to get free hits on his sides. As you can see, the Matilda able to soak up a horrendous amount of damage here. The thing just has a good amount of hit points and really decent armour. This 38 going to try and make a run for it. He is fast enough and small enough to squeeze past the corpse of his ally there. Marauda 64 going to be covering off this route here just in case anybody decides to try and come at him from the sides. This 85B looks like he's going to want to try and tango. Gets a massive hit there on the Matilda, but it's not going to be enough as he's got that long reload time on that cannon there. But he was able to do some significant damage to that Matilda and take him down to just 41 hit points, although it is still 4 onto 2. One of those again being the artillery, who hasn't really... he's starting to make a move now. Marauda just got to try and find a route through the corpse-strewn highway. The wrecks of tanks blocking his way at every opportunity. So just got to find a route to try and get himself through there. And maybe go and try and stop this base capture that's now actually only got... oh, well, I was going to say only had 15 seconds left, but it looks like the M37 was able to land a hit on somebody, do some damage, and reset that cap there. So excellent work by him. Marauda just going to take the time to stop and try and take out this LTP that was threatening the artillery there. If he can keep his artillery alive, then they've got a significantly higher chance of winning this one. 38T looks like he may want to push on the artillery. Spots out the A20, which looks like one of the last guys who is capping. Nice. Able to reset that with under 10 seconds to go. Just going to fire off into the fog of war and able to take out that A20. Panzer 38T is going to be absolutely no match for a Matilda. Oh, but that is all she wrote. The M37 looking like he was firing on the move. Not sure if he actually was, but looks like it, even if he started to move right after having that shot. But he's made a fatal mistake there, as you saw, and just stopped dead while he was still spotted, and the Allied M37 is able to take him out for the victory. So absolutely awesome replay there from Marauda 64, picking up a mammoth 9 kills in the Matilda. So thanks very much for sending that replay in. Score screens to come, and the next replay to follow just after that. And our final replay of the day is from the user Colini. That's Colini, and he's driving the T150 on a standard battle on the south coast. And the T150 is the tier 6 heavy tank for the Russians. And you may notice the matchmaking gods have not been kind to him, sticking him right slap bang in the middle of a tier 8 match. And normally in a tier 6 tank in a tier 8 match, if you're not fully upgraded, then you're pretty much just useless. If you're a medium tank, at least you can go scout. But yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of a difficult one for Colini here, trying to make his way in a tier 6 in a tier 8 battle. Excuse me, so he's just pushing his way up this right-hand flank here, leading the charge. This T150 does still have a decent chunk of armour to the front there. The front of the T150, interesting, nicely sloped there, as you can see, and still fairly difficult to penetrate, even for a tier 8. So just going to be lurking around in the right-hand flank here, going to see if he can pick anybody off who's dueling in that centre part there. Looks like that 45-02's been taken out fairly early on. Just pushed up a little bit too far there without support and just got himself eliminated. Looks so far like the enemy has been neglecting this flank. Nobody really showing their face. Who else does he have as support? He's got an IS-3, Jagd Panther, and a Knerven. So, a good little team on this right-hand flank. So, if the enemy does send any kind of force here, hopefully they should be able to finish them off. A couple of guys do get eliminated in the centre there, as they were also pushed up a little bit too far. But this thing's all even at the moment at 3-3. The Lemmings have gotten themselves taken out, and that just leaves the guys who play a little bit more cautious, and by default probably a little bit better to fight the good fight from now on. Gonna see if we can do some damage to this Pershing. It being a medium tank, hopefully his cannon should have enough clout to get through that armour there. He didn't quite have the gun depression though to get onto target, so that Pershing's actually focusing on somebody else. Still gonna be careful and try and shoot at that lower plate of the Pershing, but it looks like he only managed a 0 damage critical. Oh, I was going to say then the Pershing got into cover, but the Pershing didn't. He decided to drive back out, just have a cheeky little shot there, and took 300 damage for his trouble. Should have kept reversing. So takes a shot in the face from someone there. I would have said it was from that IS, but I'm pretty sure an IS does more than 200 damage. So possibly that, and the IS is on the other side of a hill, so possibly that was from somebody else. Again, just going to be lurking on this flank here and offering some support, trying to get some damage on whoever he can here. The top cannon on the T150 still competitive, even in a tier 8 game. It's still able to kick out a decent chunk of damage, as you saw earlier, getting 300 points of damage on that Pershing. It's going to be hanging out, doing a bit of rock climbing here in an attempt to try and maybe get a shot on that Jagdpanzer or on this Pershing. But looks like both of them just playing it safe and hiding So just going to continue his descent down the side of the rocks there, and going to be transitioning to the centre to try and offer some support to the allied Pershing there, who's duelling with the enemy Pershing. Hopefully should be able to come around the corner, take this guy by surprise and get a little bit, well, hopefully be able to finish him off. Ooh, that shot, irregularity in the terrain, just foiling him there, making it so that his shot flew over the top of the Pershing. And it looks like the allied Pershing was able to reload and fire ever so slightly before he did, and was able to pick up that kill. So they've done pretty good on this right-hand flank where he was stationed, but it looks like the allies in the centre and on the far left-hand flank have just absolutely crumbled under the pressure and been completely overrun. Now you can see the artillery already making a run for it. Well, the 13F3 is. He's obviously more aware of the situation than that Hummel is. That Hummel is stubbornly refusing to move as Colini here is just trying to make his way back to the base. Takes a shot in the rear there by that Jagdpanzer IV. He's going to be making his slow way back. Switches to premium rounds, as you can see here, just because it's probably going to be the more powerful tier 8s and tier 7s of the encounters around here, just like that Jagdpanther. A nice bit of teamwork there. Colini shooting him straight in the face to do most of his hit points on the Hummel, just able to finish him off. But it looks like that IS-2 was able to finish him off and take that Hummel out. So Colini knows that he's got a little bit of time while that IS-2 reloads, and that's got to hurt a little bit. Firing his shot way over the top of that IS-2 there. The IS-2 using the terrain and those rocks to his advantage. Colini just going to be doing his best to maybe do some side scraping here, which is a fantastic idea. The side armor of these Russian tanks is notoriously difficult to penetrate, so if he keeps this at the right angle, should be able to make a fool out of this IS-2, which is indeed what he's able to do. The ISU-152 trying to flank around him, unfortunately not quite fast enough. Colini saw what was happening and was able to counter that. 13F coming up to support, unfortunately gets himself eliminated. Colini trying to take this guy's track out. Looks like that is indeed what he's been able to do. He didn't make his move quick enough though, unfortunately, and well, luckily he's able to keep his track eliminated and then get around behind him, although he himself has now lost a track thanks to the artillery. Now just going to try and do his best to stay behind this 152. Unfortunately, I think this 152 is going to have pretty superior speed and traverse speed to the 150. But luckily, the 150 just had the better positioning and was able to finish him off. The enemy 13 F3's pushed up a little bit too far now. If he just lets his reticule close in far enough, that would make kill number 3. So excellent piece of base defense there from Colini in his tier 6 T150 against an IS-2, an ISU-152 and that Jagdpanther from earlier. So fending off, fending off some much higher tiered tanks than he really had any part in fending off. There's really no way that he should have won that battle. The IS-2 being a tier 7 and the 152 being a tier 8 and the Jagdpanther being a tier 7. So really shouldn't have won that battle, but luckily he did, thanks to superior positioning and probably superior skill. So that just leaves a low and a GW Panther. Oh no, that low has 920 hit points, which is going to be at least 3 shots from this T150, and it's only going to be 2 shots from the low. So he's going to have to play this one very carefully. Low poking himself out way too far there and taking an unnecessary shot through his side armor. But like I said, this low... the mistake the low made there really is he should have carried on pushing, because he had more than enough hit points to just overpower him. Should have really continued to press around that corner and just bear down on the T150. Even if he took another shot Another penetrating shot from that T-150 would have had more than enough hit points just to take it on the chin, and then his next shot would have finished him off. But as it was, he decided to back off, play peekaboo a little bit. His shot unfortunately bouncing, and now they're going to try and play the peekaboo game. Whoever makes the mistake first is going to be for it. The Law just trying to inch his way out and then back in to try and lure Colini into firing early. Unfortunately, he's not suffering any of that. Trying to side scrape, but doing it at completely the wrong angle. What I would say is, if you do want to side scrape, please, please, please look at a tutorial before you do it. Either watch a video or look at the diagrams on the World of Tanks wiki, because that just there is not the angle that you want to side scrape at. As you can see, the T-150 just putting a shell straight through his undefended side armour. So excellent piece of play there from Colini, just being absolutely patient, not with a happy trigger finger there, just holding his fire until he knew that he could get some damage on that Law, and then was able to put a round through that side armour thanks to the inefficient side scraping tactic of that Law. So that just leaves this GW Panther, which his allies are telling him is lurking around A6. He's definitely not going to be AFK because he already has a kill, so just going to have a quick look around, see if he can find him somewhere. Hopefully he is in this A6 area. That would be this square. There he is. So it looks like he's managed to hide himself up in the mountains here. Not really... No, he's not going to be able to get an angle on him from here, so I'm not really sure why he's firing wildly into the rocks there. Maybe it's in anger or frustration, and there's no way this T-150 is going to have the engine power to be able to get up there. What he wants to do is probably just go and start a base capture, and then that's going to force the GW Panther to just come out and put a stop to it. So doing this base capture means that the GW Panther's either going to have to come out and try and stop him, or he's going to have to be a clear asshat and just sit there AFK and allow this one to be a defeat. Although no, if you check out the time left on the base capture, that's now down to 1 minute and 10 seconds, while the time remaining is 1 minute and 4 seconds at the same time. So there actually isn't enough time to get this base capture off. As you can see, he says it in the chat there, no time. He knows for a fact that he's not going to be able to get this base capture done in time. So what do you do in this situation? You can't really reach the guy, but then again, you can't capture the base either. So the best bet is just to have a look and try and find any route you can in the 15 seconds remaining to try and get an angle and a shot on this GW Panther. I can't believe he's just sat there, kind of AFK. In fact, he's not even facing the right direction, as he's been spotted out and he's been taken out. So that's kill number 5 for Colini, putting up a valiant effort defending off the base by himself there in a tier 6 tank against tier 8s and tier 7s, and finally picks up the last kill on the GW Panther with less than 10 seconds to go, to pick up 5 kills in total. A bit of a shame that it wasn't a Top Gun medal for him, but we will award him an honorary Top Gun there, as he proved his skill in a higher tiered game. So absolutely awesome replay from Colini. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, then leave me a like or favourite. Don't forget to stick a comment in the comment section below, letting me know exactly what you thought of the various replays. And don't forget to have a go at having a guess which tank and which map you think are featured in the thumbnail. And if you're the first one to correctly identify both, then you can win a shout out in the very next video. And don't forget to check the video description for the mod pack that I use in World of Tanks, and for the details on how to use our public free-to-use TeamSpeak server. So this has been World of Tanks. I've been Maxwell. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.